you want to be Kain. So you want to play a class that's so edgy that it can even cut through Mihail's Royal Guard, or Paladin's defenses. Well then, you've come to the right class. Well, the right video, really. Both! My goodness! Alright, so in the beginner tab, we have the skill that'll take you back to your town, facing the pass. We also have the level 200 skill, which most classes get at level 200, I'm pretty sure all of them do. We have the Link skill, which you gain after you gain 5 stacks, you get a 17% damage bonus for 20 seconds, and the cooldown is 40 seconds. So really you just have to wait 20 seconds, after the buff activates. The way that you activate this buff, or how you get stacks, is as you defeat enemies. If you defeat 8 enemies, you get 1 stack. If you hit a boss 5 times, you get 1 stack. So pretty much you hit a boss 5 times or 25 times, or you kill 40 enemies? Then then you'll get the buff. Very, very good. Highly recommend using this Link skill. It's very good. Wish they would show the level 1 effect. Well, anyway. The Legion effect is Dex. So in first job, you get Strike Arrow, which is kind of like 3 attacks in 1, based on if you're first, second, or third job. It's basically the same button activates those 3 skills, which is just Strike Arrow. Strike Arrow 1, 2, and 3. And then we have Shadow... Oh, I should also mention, this attack, very, very good for hitting enemies below you. So you can see I'm attacking up here, and it does damage to enemies that are below me. Very good. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, you're going to be fine playing this class in first job. And then we have Shadow Step, which has a 10-second cooldown, unless later on I'll mention it, but use an execute skill, then it resets the cooldown on it. But with this skill, you'll... it's not a teleport, but it's like a dash. So you'll dash forward, and you'll have Dark Sight. Or, if you hold up, you can sorry, I keep saying teleport. You can dash up, or you can dash down. You can dash in 4 directions, basically. Left, right, up, and down. And then we have Grappling Wire, which is like Rope Lift, but you can choose a direction. So if you don't press anything, or you just press Grappling Hook without a direction, it'll just go straight up. But if you press it with the direction, it'll go in a 45-degree angle in the direction that you press. Also, you can't go down with it. I've tried. You can also attack while hanging. So you can see right here, I'm like hanging, and I can actually attack like that. I can even do that and then go up, and then you can cancel it if you press the skill again while grappling, so that I can fall into that platform rather than going all the way up. And I think there... Oh, and then flash jump. It's just flash jump. There is no vertical flash jump, though. You just have to use rope lift. I mean, it's not called rope lift. What is it called? Grappling wire. My goodness. Alright. And then these 2 are passive. Moving on to second job, we have Possession. Now, using Possession uses 100 Malice. And I guess I can just talk about this now. So each of these little points here count as 100 Malice, but also a full center counts as 100 Malice as well. So in total you have 500 Malice. When you go into Possessed mode, you use up 100 Malice. Possessed mode isn't really like a mode like Ark's transformation or Kaiser's transformation, because the next attack that you do will be boosted. So I'm going to go into it now. So my next attack will be boosted. So I'll use it again. You can see it took up the right side. Or boosted? More like enhanced. So you can see strike arrows down here. But when I go into Possessed mode, it becomes the other version of it, which you get in second job. It'll fill up over time, or it'll fill up as you use red skills. I mean, I guess I could just call them Whisper Shot skills, because that's what the weapon is called. But as you use Whisper Shot skills, which are the red ones, you'll gain Malice as well. So you can use this. You can use the main attack, all to gain Malice. Oh yeah, and second job you can only carry 2. So you only have like, I think these 2 activated, or these 2, and then in fourth job you'll get all 4 of them. All right, so next we have Dragon Fang, which is your first toggle. As you use skills, oops, hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay, so it's a toggle skill, and as you attack with you know, just normal attacks, or yeah, just normal attacks, you can summon up to 3 orbs, which will then go around hitting enemies as you attack. Otherwise, they'll just orbit around you, not doing any damage at all. But as soon as I attack, you can see it floated up here, it's floating around, searching for enemies, and then it'll eventually come back to me. Next, we have Scatter Shot. Or, sorry, I should probably talk about, well, I already talked about the possessed version of it. So yeah, Strike Arrow 2, which is the second version of the main attack, just automatically happens when you press the main attack. And then the possessed version, use up 100 Malice to go into possessed mode, and then use the skill, and now you're out of possessed mode as soon as you use the skill. And then we have Scatter Shot, which just fires arrows that, as you can see, spreads kind of like a shotgun. And you also get the possessed version of it, which homes in on enemies. Just scatters around the map looking for enemies to hit. Pretty nice. And then you get Booster, increases your attack speed by 2, and your passives. By the way, this class only gets 50 knockback resist, but later on you get buffs, such as this one and your 5th job skill, which will give you the extra 50% that you need to get to 100. Anyway, moving on to 3rd job, you get the final version of Strike Arrow, which is that one. It's like orange, you know, spread out orange, whatever. Again, all the same buttons, so I didn't really mention it too much. So I'm gonna explain this in a bit. Give me. I'm gonna go through the rest, and then I'll explain this. So next we have Shaft Break, which when you fire an arrow, it sucks up enemies and then explodes. The possessed version does the same thing, except that after it explodes, it leaves behind like a thing that does damage while it's out. And then we have your first execute skill, which I guess now would be a good time to explain Death's Blessing. But when you hit an enemy that is marked by a possessed skill, and you use an execute skill... Okay, never mind, I can't show it here. Because I one-shot. Alright, whoa, I am getting ahead of myself. So, execute skill. Phantom Blade has no cooldown, and yeah, it's just an attack. You just do it. Execute Tearing Knife. This skill has a cooldown of, I think, like 3 seconds or something. 4.5 seconds. And you pretty much use it to... Goodbye. Well, use all of your execute skills to activate the Death's Blessing. So, I guess, yeah, now I'll explain Death's Blessing. So when you hit an enemy with the possessed skill, you put a number above their head. That number can go up to 15, and whenever you hit an enemy that has a number above their head with an execute skill, it will then activate Death's Blessing, which does 10 extra lines when it activates. I could just read it right here. I didn't even think about that. But it'll do 10 hits to that enemy that was hit with the execution skill. So, for instance, and then the 10 extra hits activate after, and it uses up the stack. When that happens, you get a 5-second buff that gives you extra malice. Your execute skills get more final damage, and it's great to have. So pretty much what you want to do is put the stack on the enemy, and then hit them with an execute skill. So that's like the very short explanation of it, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And then we have Lasting Grudge, which when you use a possessed skill, or a possessed version of the skill, little orbs will appear in the map, depending on what skill you use. So if I were to use the first job possessed skill, only one orb will appear. Oh, I didn't activate the toggle. There we go. So you can see one orb appeared right here, and then when I attack, it'll explode and deal damage to enemies around it. If I were to use the fourth job skill, however, it summons a bunch of those orbs. And same thing, if I attack, they'll explode and do damage to enemies around it. So that's pretty much what that does. And then we got some passives. So let's move on to fourth job, where you get your final, possession, which gives you all 4 of the, little stars on the end here. And also you recover Malice faster. And then you get the boosted version of Death's Blessing, which will heal you whenever you defeat a certain amount of enemies and some other stuff. It basically just buffs it. Falling Dust looks like this. You shoot at the ground, the arrows explode upwards. It's really nice. Long cooldown though, or shouldn't say cooldown. You get certain stacks every now and then. Every 10 seconds you get 1 stack. Oh, I should also mention that's the same thing for the other skills like Scattershot. After a certain amount of time. For this one it's 6 seconds. For this skill it's every 8 seconds. So yeah, you get stacks. Then you can use a skill. Possessed skills and normal skills have separate cooldowns. So even if I have 0 stacks of this skill, let me go ahead and use all the stacks. So there we go. So if I press it, I can't use it unless I use the possessed version, because it's a separate cooldown. So speaking of the possessed version, as you saw, it summons like a big dragon that hits very tall. Like it hits probably the 3rd platform up here. It's very tall, very good. And the cooldown is 14 seconds. That's another thing I should actually mention. You can tell when the cooldown is over, or you can see the duration of the cooldown by looking at the shortcut. So let's go ahead and use the possessed version of the skill. So you see how there's like an orange outline around the shortcut? That is the cooldown. Or you can just look at the number that says like what the cooldown is. So that's a really cool addition that they added. So you can either look at the number or you can look at the orange bar going around. So yeah, that's that. Your next execute skill is Chain Sickle. Now this skill has a decently long cooldown. I think it's like 8 seconds. 7 seconds, sorry. And it can actually stop your momentum. So if I use it now, you can see it like stop my forward momentum and just drop me. And you also get Poison Needle, which is another execution skill, but this one has a cooldown of 15 seconds, so you know this one does damage. So you can use it in the air, it'll keep you in the air for a little bit, or you can use it on the ground. I guess technically all of them you can use in the air. Anyway. So I should also mention that after using it, it does a damage over time thing, but also by using execution skills, if an enemy dies when it's hit with an execution skill, it resets Shadow Step's cooldown. So if I do this, I don't think I can kill any enemies over here with this. But yeah, then I can do Shadow Step without waiting 10 seconds. Alright, so next we have Dragon Skill, which is your iframe. Has a 40-second cooldown, and you can hold it down for 3.4 seconds. As you can see, you can move with it as well. Very good for getting out of danger. Very short cooldown. Nova Warrior is just Maple Warrior, but for Nova. Hero's Will, or I'm sorry, Nova Temperance, which is Nova's Hero's Will. And then some passives, which just boost like all of your attacks. And then this one, and then that one. And finally this one. Alright, moving on to hyper passives. So all of your Whisper Shot skills, you can increase their damage or defense ignore. You can make them do more damage, you can make them do more boss damage. For the execute skills, you can make them ignore more defense, you can make them do more damage. Or, and this is a interesting one, you can prevent yourself from being knocked back, even from super knockback. Literally nothing can knock you back when you have that activated. But it's a little strange how to activate it. So the way that this one works is as long as you have the Death's Blessing buff on you, you know, from possessing an enemy and then hitting them with an execute skill, you get this buff. As long as this buff is activated, if you use an execute skill, you won't be knocked back. As long as you have that buff on you. And then we have Lasting Grudge, which is the toggle skill that when you use a possessed skill, the orbs appear. So the orbs get 50% more damage. You can also increase the range that the orbs that follow around you can go. And if you activate this, or if you add this one, you can heal while using your iframe. And then for the active hypers, we have this skill. Okay, that was a bad showcasing of the skill. Why did it kill everything down here? Hold on a second. Okay, now that they're all dead, let me wait for this cooldown. But basically, it's like Luminous's reflection. You fire out some arrows, they bounce around everywhere and hit like as many enemies as they can. Again, don't know why it like did that. Incarnation gives you a buff that gives you the rest of the 50% knockback resist, because remember how I said, you know, only 50%. So you get the other 50% here, has a cooldown of 180 seconds, but for 40 seconds your damage is increased. And whenever you activate Death's Blessing, instead of it only being 10 hits or 10 lines, it gets increased to 13. You also get a little bit of an aura around you, where, see, it's like around my feet. My party members will actually give me, or, yeah, do more Death's Blessing, basically. However, the cooldown on their Death's Blessing is 3 seconds, so they can only activate it every 3 seconds. But for Kain, it's, yeah, it's just... it's nice. So yeah, let's go ahead and use the chain thing. There you go, so now it's bouncing everywhere, hitting enemies. It's cool. And then let's show you guys... Oops! Alright, so now this should do 13 lines. They're gonna die, aren't they? Hold on a second. Okay, so this should do 13 lines. Yep. Of course, I lost the buff, but anyway. Yeah, that's what that does. And then Unseen Sniper. So you can just press it. Pretty much, you can hold it for I think 1.4 seconds. But the only thing that changes when you hold it is the distance that it hits. You can also use the possessed version of it, which you can see down here. So go to possessed mode, and then you can, like, here's me holding it down, it just goes farther. And because it's both a possessed and execute skill, it will actually activate Death's Blessing on its own as well. So that's extremely useful. But yeah, these two have separate cooldowns, like I mentioned before with execute and possess skills. And yeah, it's just very good. The longer you hold it down, the farther it goes. Alright, moving on to 5th job skills. So your first 5th job, well, I don't know if it's the first one, but Dragon Burst. This skill, when it hits an enemy, so you may have noticed, every time you activate the debuff on enemies, one skill equals 1 stack. With the Dragon skill, with Dragon Burst, each hit of this skill gives 1 stack. So you can, pretty much by the end of the skill, you'll have 15 stacks. The skill will also automatically end once you do have 15 stacks. Or once it hits enough times. But yeah, very strong. You want to use the skill first and then use it with Fatal Blitz, which will take up 14 stacks of the enemy and do like a whole bunch of damage. Like, it's so strong. But yeah, the cooldown is 90 seconds, same thing with this. So basically, yeah, Dragon Burst to build up stacks, and then Fatal Blitz to use up all those stacks that you got. Or not all of them, but all but 1. So yeah, that's pretty much what this does. Nothing really else to say there. Oh, and of course it resets the cooldown of Shadow Step. Sorry, just killing the mob there. Next we have Thanatos Descent, which when you first use it, gives you, again, 50% knockback resist, extra damage, and you get more malice, and another thing. Let's see, we use it, it changes the music. Yeah. It's crazy. So when you attack, you get these little, like, portals that appear behind you that will attack and search out enemies, or, like, seek out enemies. So there they go. They just go and seek out enemies. Very nice. But when you press the skill again, you get a full screen, like, awesome attack that gives you full iframes for the whole duration, and then a little bit after the, you know, screen goes back to normal. So that is very nice. Let's see, what else? Oh, and again, the first part of it, the buff part, also increases how much malice you get. I don't know if I mentioned that, but anyway. And then you have this skill, which I personally don't like this skill. It's just for damage. But my problem with it is that you can't see anything under it. So if you're fighting a boss and you use this skill, you won't see what the boss is doing. Because unlike your character, the boss appears behind this skill. So you just can't see anything. But anyway, the way that you gain stacks with that skill is, I believe, just hitting or killing enemies. So let's see. Let me see. So yeah, you have to defeat 30 enemies or hit a boss 25 times. And the only thing the stacks do is make this skill last longer. For each stack, you get, I think, 1 extra second of the skill being out. Cooldown of this skill, though, is pretty long. It's 180 seconds. Oh, it's not that long. And, let's see. Anything else? I think that's it for that skill. Oh, it ignores attack reflection, by the way. Ooh, speaking of attack reflection. Okay, so I don't know when you would really have this, you know, happen, but, like, Death's Blessing also completely ignores, you know, weapon cancel, the thing that makes your damage do 1s, and damage reflect. So if I go fight, you know what, let me do that. I'm gonna show bossing first, and then I'll show mobbing. So if I were to go do Zakum right now, you'll see that I can actually attack him through... What am I doing? You can just... I forgot they made boss queues solo now. So I can just do that without having to wait for anybody. So you'll see that even though I can only do 1s, the Death's Blessings 10 lines will still do normal damage. Let's do Chaos. I guess I'll do practice mode. Yeah, I'll just do normal mode. Oh, okay, I'll do practice mode. So here we go. Let me try to get rid of all of his arms first. Just die. Okay, ooh, I thought I killed him. Alright, so you can see I'm only doing 1s. You know, only 1 damage. However,
Dead on.
if you activate Death's Blessing, you can see it does normal damage. That's so good. I love that. And he's dead because I activated all the stacks. So yeah, those skills will get you killed, I think, so I don't really know when you can do that. Once you guys get the chance to play it, you can come back to this video and comment, hey, so certain skills actually ignore damage reflect as well that are execute skills. Currently, I don't know what they are, but like during damage reflect, I don't know how you would activate the, you know, Death's Blessing. I mean, let me actually see. Nope, doesn't say anything about you not dying to damage reflect, so I don't know. By the way, you can actually shadow step out of that animation, the fifth job skills animation, but you'll lose the damage from it. So it's better to just let the whole thing play out, and then you can shadow step. And is that everything? I think I went over everything. Oh, boost nodes. So, the boost nodes that you want are the Strike Arrow, Death's Blessing, and Dragon Fang. Which also are pretty much the toggle skills, the 2 toggle skills. And then, of course, your second one will be your mobbing skills. Scattershot, the Falling Dust, which is the arrow that you shoot down and then it explodes upwards, and the Suction Arrow. And then, lastly, you want the 2 execution skills. I know there's more than 2, but these are the only 2 that are actually boosted, so the third skill is up to you, whatever you want to boost. You can have a random skill in there or whatever. And that's your boost nodes. So when bossing with Kain, you basically want to get your stacks up and then use your execution skills. So possession, then execute, or possession to get all your stacks, and then use execute to use the stacks. But basically, you do the hyper, the fifth job buff portion, and then do your possession skills to get stacks, and then do all of your execute skills to use up all those stacks. And then you'd use your Dragon Burst to build up stacks again, and then use execute to use up those stacks. And yeah, from there it's just normal attacking, normal bossing, you know. So let's go ahead and try it. So activate this, activate that, go ahead and possess. Okay, and then use execute skills. And then you can fire your laser. Then do the purple skill. And then do this with a bit of that. Possess version of this. And then end off with the big explosion. Oh, I forgot to summon the shield. You want to summon your shield sometime in there as well. But yeah, that's basically Kain's bossing. Is you just want to use possession skills. And then use execute skills to use up those stacks. So his bossing isn't like incredible, but it's also not like super terrible. It's just not like the best, you know?
Steady. The hunt is on. Cover your ears. Dead on. Go. Hey, heads up. Goodbye.
And yeah, this is pretty much how I boss on it. I'm sure like it'll develop more the longer the class is out. But yeah, this is pretty much all I do.
Goodbye.
Then I use execution skills.
Goodbye.
Get my stacks back up. While I wait for
Gotcha.
while I wait for the execution skills to come off cooldown.
Take this.
Sometimes I'll just weave them in there every now and then.
Heads up.
Like when I see they're off cooldown, I'll just put it in there. Because eventually I'm going to end up using the, what do you call it skill? The, 5th job skill to build up stacks again anyway. So yeah.
It's over. Dead on. Couple of years. Hard rain. Die now.
That's pretty much their bossing. Is it strong? It's okay. It's like maybe middle of the road. Kain's not like super great at anything, but he's good at he's average at everything. All right, so let's show a bit of mobbing. Let me do one-shot mobbing and then non-one-shot mobbing. All right, so if you're one-shotting, you can honestly just use the main attack and then occasionally send out the homing missiles for platforms that you can't reach.
Heads up.
That'll hit multiple platforms, of course.
Target.
Because you can't really use execution skills if the targets aren't being marked. So yeah, you're pretty much just using all of your possess skills or red skills. This also isn't like the best map. Like I can oh, you want to see CLP? I know a lot of people really like CLP. So let me go there real quick. If I can remember where it is. So you just do this. Attack to the left, attack to the right.
Just die.
Summon the orbs. Because by doing this, you're hitting the bottom as well. So you really only have to worry about the top. But maybe there's a way that you can like attack from down here, because you can like summon a dragon that'll hit. I don't know. But the class's mobbing seems pretty good. Not the best again, like I said, but seems nice. Now let me show you not one-shotting mobbing, where you do actually have to use your execution skills. Alright. So, you do the normal stuff, you go ahead and debuff them. And you throw in execution skills here and there. That's pretty much how you do it. Let's see, what else can I show? I guess that's about it. I mean, you put this down. So you only have to worry about like the top platform. You can bring those enemies down into it. Yeah, just the mobbing is it's pretty nice. It's not the best, again, but it's not the worst. So it's pretty good. I like this class. I don't know if I'll main it at all, but I like where this class was going. I'll definitely be playing it more. I believe that's it. I don't remember if I missed anything. I probably did, but I do have limited time while I'm on this test server. Which, by the way, thank you so much, Nexon, for giving me the opportunity and to be able to play on the test server. This is Tespia, GMS Tespia. So thank you very much for the opportunity to play this class early. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this class when it comes out on the 23rd. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you in my next video. And until then, I'll see you. You guys are cute, by the way.